Real talk, the metaphor messiah, man. I got this one. Let's go. You ever seen the morning star? Mr. Metaphor Messiah, back to show you who we are. I represent a legacy, up high here like the 70s. A different kind of mind, they say we only speak in melodies. Legend in the game, I think I found a solution. Got a crazy kind of flow, I need a verbal institution. Monster on the mic, I feel like hip-hop then adopted me. You pussy niggas shook, you let them turn this to a mockery. I give a fuck about their recognition. I'm trying to spit the fucking truth, somebody get the message. These politics, they overstate the obvious. They shooting like Stoyakovich, it's war on every continent. Deeper than you know, I'm what you hate if you the government. Young black with heart, I put a hex on the establishment. Niggas playing patty cake and I was trying to regulate. A lot of them are emulate, but none of them are demonstrate. Hip-hop will never need a eulogy. They give us 10%, they trying to take away gratuity. Work for what you want, I learned that from fucking
Sunday. We resetting the week, we're getting a whole new one started. And you know, this is a special one. This is a little bit of a different Sunday night. This is something kind of a long time building, to be completely honest, and I'm excited for it. We've done sort of things like this in the past. We've done micros of this. We've done segments where we've talked about aspects. But this is the first time, and certainly the first time in a very long time, that I get to kind of just sit in front of you guys, as a lot of you being a new audience, and just talk about something that is integral to my existence, and not only mine, but also my best friends. You know, and one of the big reasons why I'm able to put up with a lot of the shit that I have been able to put up with, and a lot of the growth that I have had over the past 3 years has been because of my friendship with this person. So it's only appropriate that today I'm joined with the original of originals, my bestie, the blue-haired wonder, the artist that makes you go, NixyNakks. What's up there?
That was so gay.
Yeah. It was the... I don't know what that was. There's nothing.
I have no clue.
Nothing evocative about. It sounds like a rape victim whistle or something. It's like,
wow.
Well, I mean, that would be an effective way to let somebody know something bad's happening to you.
Yeah, or something unexpected. So, like, you know, you're kind of thinking you're ready for it, but then it goes in, and then you're like, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. But yes, so to tackle some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today, it was kind of important that Nixie was here for this one, because it's something that we both wanted to do for a while. So instead of me giving you the full gas, and I'll get back to myself in a moment as we go through our individual journeys, I want to go ahead and kick it over to my partner here, Miss NixyNakks. What are we doing and why are we doing it today? And thank you for the fucking mush puff there, memberships. Thank you. Cheers Day from Alpha Rustin Plants. Thank you both. Appreciate the Facebook chat. Change it up for you guys. Hit the street like button, tweet it out, and all that good stuff. Nixie.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's just been a long time coming, because we kind of bonded over the fact that we're both ridiculously broken.
Yes. Yes.
But I think within being in the Mush Puff community, kind of figured that, you know what, we're all a little bit fucking broken, and everybody wants their chance to be able to tell their story and just like come together about it, you know? It's because it's such an isolating thing to be chronically ill or to be chronically in pain. It's isolating because it's such a personal experience. But when you know that there's other people around and everyone's going through their own thing, it doesn't mean you necessarily understand what they're going through, but you kind of go, I don't know what you're going through, but I'm going through something too, and we're all in it together, kind of thing. So it's just a big stew pot, really.
Yeah, there's an empathetic fabric that's underneath. And this community in particular has always kind of had that. There's a lot of people, call them spoonies, call them whatever you want, but I tend to attract that demographic. And I think because so many people have seen my journey and saw what happened to me and all the things that are happening, and more importantly, and I think this is what you're going to see as the theme of today, is part of the reason why Nixie and I have so much similarities, and not only because of the journeys and everything, but of how we deal with it and how we try to cope with it. And comedy, you know, being a big crutch for me, a big reason, a big coping mechanism. And we're going to talk about all that because it's just an important place, perspective, mindset, and perseverance. A lot of P words. A lot of P words.
All of the P words.
All the P words. So many P words.
Penis.
How many P words? Penis. Don't forget about. You got to get piped down every so often too. It helps. Or lay the pipe. Oh, I need to lay some pipe.
Or push the buttons.
Push the button. You got to fucking find a little man in the boat every so often. There's no question there. So I got hurt. I had nothing genetically wrong aside from my lungs, which is one of the first things you and I kind of bonded over. God has been trying to kill you for a long time.
He has.
So why don't you tell the kids, let's start there. Why don't you tell the kids what's wrong and how much you want to share with that? Feel free.
I kind of have to go through everything like a list in my head now because there's just so many things wrong with me. So I was actually not too bad asthmatic-wise, lung-wise when I was younger. I just had a dream, Dave. I had a dream. I was going to be a vet because I love animals, right? And I went to veterinary college when I left school, so I went straight from school to there. And I
20, Ghosty. Sorry, go ahead.
Got absolutely hammered with every single possible thing that could go wrong with a human body. My body decided it was allergic to everything. Like everything. So that's sort of the beginning of. It took a long time to get an actual diagnosis for it, but it's actually
memento. Real quick, I'm sorry. I want to emphasize because you may not understand what she just said. Everything, and when she means everything, ice will kill Nixie. She can't have
strong wind. A strong wind will kill me.
A brisk wind on a cold day will kill them. Oh my God, Ghosty gifted 20 fucking memberships.
God damn.
That's a lot of memberships.
That's
copious amounts of memberships. Oh, that's a spicy fucking meatball right there. Holy shit. I can't even look at all the names that I gotta read now. That's a lot of names. I gotta turn the fucking alerts down. Let that shit fucking go in quiet. Holy fuck. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of that. Hat change and bong rip incoming. Holy shit. Thank you so much. Woo. So you because you were very athletic, you know,
I was a sporty kid.
Yeah, just like I was.
I was a massive tomboy, so I was like literally I grew up basically thinking I was a boy, and I was on the boys sports team. I was doing every sport you could imagine. I was really good as well. This is the sad part of my story is everything I'm good at, my body finds a way to fuck it up for me.
Yeah, it's like as soon as you manifest it, it's like, oh, take it away.
Yeah, but the first thing that happened, which it was kind of like the real jarring moment. And I think, and my doctors have even said that they think that what happened in that point was that my body literally went into such a meltdown that it opened the door for everything else basically to come in. But that was the start of the journey of finding out that I have hyper IgE syndrome, which is basically what I said earlier. It's literally my body thinks it's allergic to everything. So it's constantly making too many histamines in my body and trying to murder me, basically. It started when I was about 11, actually. So maybe I had it a lot longer and I just didn't realize. But when I went to like veterinary school, I was around a lot of I was on the farm. I was fucking birthing baby lambs and all sorts. And I didn't want to stop. That's the thing. Like my doctors kept telling me, you can't do this. You can't do this. You got to stop. You've got to stop. And I would not give up. I would not stop. And then
stubborn's the proper word because I did the exact same thing. And the funny thing is, had we listened, we may have fared better. We may have
ended up on a different trajectory. But you know what it's like when you have a dream and you know your goal, you know what you want, and we
only got one go round on this thing. You know,
exactly.
You got one shot at this life thing as far as we fucking know. So, and the older you get, the more apparent that becomes. So, yeah, you got to go for it. I get it. I did the same thing. No judgment.
Yeah. So because my body was constantly, so like I had a blood test that was like, so the normal human response with allergic reactions telling you what you're allergic to, basically. A normal person has between 10 and something like, I think it's 100 to 300, like histamines, like that IgE level goes to about that point. When they did mine, I was over 3,800 or something. I had like the doctor that I was under was like the top in the country, and he said that I was one of the worst cases he'd seen because I started getting cold-induced urticaria. So what that means, and the way I found this out, Dave, was hilarious. I was drinking a slushie.
Yeah, no, that's what'll do it to you too. It's like,
and my airway shut. Like I went into anaphylactic shock. I had to go straight to hospital. It took them like a long fucking time to get me out of it. And then, you know, we thought, what could it be? Like, we were literally going through, the doctors in the hospital were like, what did you have? What have you done? Have you done this? Have you done that? We literally we couldn't fathom that it could be the cold that was doing it. And I was, you know, I'd go outside and I'd come up in hives all over my face and my arms. And I'd be like, my mum would be like, well, you can't wear that jumper anymore because it's obviously the jumper that's doing, like, no way in our mind. You say to anybody, I'm allergic to the cold, and people look at you like you're batshit fucking crazy. Like, I had a job at the time, and I told them that this was the situation. They said, well, nobody likes the cold. I said, no, it's not that I don't like the cold. Yeah. It's I physically will have a bad reaction and probably end up in hospital.
Yes. Neurological and autoimmune disorders are things that we have in common. You know, things like that nature. And one thing that kind of bound us both early was the fact that both of these things, and what you're alluding to right there is a perfect example of it, they're invisible. They're invisible ailments to most people. I mean, me, when I was bedridden and I ballooned up to 525 pounds, I at least had something. You know, you could see something was wrong. You didn't know if I was just fat, but when you saw me on the cane, you saw the other thing, you knew something was wrong. I was disabled. It was there. You know, there was a story. But, you know, when I've lost the weight, now I'm walking around, my shoulder's so bad I can't use my cane. Most people don't know. Nixie's gorgeous. You know, Nixie walks around, if you don't know any fucking better, she just looks like another gorgeous fucking Brit walking around being sexy. But she's constantly in assault by her own fucking body. And what's worse, the worst part about it is having to deal with the doctors. They're having to deal with, especially when they want to switch you to different doctors and try to find different things what's wrong with you. And you have to deal with the doubt, all of the dismissal, all of it. It just becomes so taxing. It's
emotionally taxing.
You have to defend yourself.
Obviously physically, because it's attacking your body. Like, I was constantly being attacked by my own body, but it's the emotional damage on it. Emotional damage, because I literally had my heart's goal ripped out of my, like, when I say that I kept fighting, I took it till the end of the year, and then I had been in hospital every other, well, at one point it was like every month I was in hospital for at least like a couple of weeks or something, and they were saying to me, if you carry on, you're gonna have a heart attack before you finish this course. So I mean, I invested a lot of money because I got an inheritance from my grandparents, not a large amount, just like a small amount, you know. But I put everything into going to college because that was what I didn't have any other goal. I didn't have any backup role. That's what I wanted. I wanted to help animals. I wanted to be like, that was my dream. And when they ripped it away from me, they literally, I mean, this doctor that I went to told me I had to get rid of my dog. I had to get rid of all my pets. I had to get rid of and I was like, no. And I said to my mum, I was like, if you get rid of that dog, I swear to God, you won't see me. You will not see me. I will just fuck off, because I can't live in I can't have that. I'd fucking rather have my dog and risk having a heart attack. And I know that sounds really fucking selfish in a way, but
it is, but it's understandable selfishness. And that'll be something else that either people will get or they won't get. Look, every day of existence is not easy for the normal average person. But whether you're me in constant pain in every fucking day with, like, from my toe to my fucking hair follicles, or Nixie having every fucking thing taken away from her on a goddamn daily basis, it's a mental journey as it is almost anything else. And the rigors of that really weigh on you. So when you find something, anything that gives you comfort, the first thing that comes into your mindset and thought process is, how much of this can I tolerate to be able to still do it? I can't just give this up. I'm not going to give this up. So how much can I tolerate? And that becomes your bartering system. That's you and your body's way of bartering. Okay, you're going to hurt me for this, but how much are you going to hurt me? And some people get that relationship and that dynamic with yourself, or some people just feel it's you being selfish, it's you making choices. But it's a very important choice that you can't understand unless you've lived a similar circumstance. 100%.
It's also, I mean, speaking about choice, I mean, especially when like I got to the point that I'm at now where everything's fucked up, and it's not just that, and it's a whole bunch of other shit, but like it felt like I was 16 at the time, and I felt like all my choices were being taken away from me, because it was at the same time I was told I wouldn't have children, I wouldn't be able to do that.
She has two beautiful children, by the way. She has two beautiful children.
So there was so many things I got hit with, and it wasn't even, and it was like, right, you now can no longer eat this, and this. You now no longer cannot be near or touch this. I was like literally they were trying to put me in a bubble, and I was like, I do not want to live my life in a bubble. So you sort of have to start to, especially being 16 and being in that kind of, no, I'm gonna fucking live my life how I want to. I know everything. I'm fucking 16. I can take on the world.
Yeah.
Like, you have to kind of experience how much you can push, because if you don't push, you're basically, you're not living, you're just surviving. And I'm a massive advocate of, I don't want to survive, I want to live.
I've done that.
Like there's such a difference. And
oh my God,
important.
It's a massive difference.
And maybe people who are being quite lucky with their health, they don't have that mindset. They don't understand how. And
you know what? I'm glad they don't understand it, Nixie. It's a horrible fucking decision to have to leverage your own happiness against your health. You know what I mean? It's a fucking horrific thing and this is something that not everybody goes through in their life. There are people who do avoid this for the most part. Small spurts, yes, colds, flus, things that might fucking linger a little. But there are people who just never have to deal with this type of bartering with themselves, not past the normal rigors of age and time, you know, and they're very fortunate because it's become more of a thing now than ever before.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
I would. I hate my worst enemy. I hope my worst enemy's penis falls off, and then when they're on the side of the road gasping for the last breath with blood dripping out of their mouth, I want to be there so I can laugh and then kick them in the stomach. Just give them a nice big fresh one right in the goddamn suck. I hope they feel every ounce of my pain. Yeah, I hate heavy. I know how to hate, Nixie. I don't fuck around. I got to put all this somewhere. I have two things to get me through: my undying hate and my love of comedy. It's a very interesting dichotomy.
Oh, hell yeah. I do think that having a lot of restrictions and a lot of things against you does build you in that way, because it's part of survival. It's like you have to be able to look at a situation and be like, fuck, that happened, and then you kind of learn how to cope and move on and move forward. And if you didn't have fucking comedy, what the hell would you be doing? Jesus
I couldn't
Christ.
tell you. I mean, it's the same thing with you. If you have photography and art and also comedy, because you're pretty fucking funny yourself. But that's something that you and I have. We were able to get. And 10 more gifted fucking subs by Ghosty. Thank you so much. And I want to make a bigger deal about the fucking love that we're getting here. I mean, Jesus, this is getting us dangerously close to 100 fucking members, which suck me dry on a night when we're not getting our normal viewership of over 100. This is very, 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 very humbling. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. It's very sweet. Thank you, Ghosty. Another big a big rip is coming. I just don't want to be completely kerschnipped here before we are able to get that to the meat and potatoes, because this is, like we've said, this is a long time coming, and it's a very personal thing.
It's kind of hard for me because I don't tell my story very often, and it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, but like I can't stand pity. I can't stand pity. I can't. That's one of the reasons why you start telling people, oh, this, and this, and they either overcompensate saying they understand when they probably don't.
Or I go through this, my foot hurts too.
Yeah.
They don't get it. And that's okay. I don't even have hatred.
Exactly. It's not a bad thing. No. For one, I would never wish it on anyone to want someone to understand. Envious. It's just that I don't. It's just personal. It's very personal. So it's hard to talk about sometimes, but yeah, when I do talk about it, I get like skitty because I'm like trying to remember everything because it's been so long and it's so much, and then I start wondering, wow, people are going to start thinking, fucking hell, and I don't want that. I don't want the pity. No. I really don't.
Yeah, and not to elaborate on that point with you in particular, but you have some really traumatic things that have happened to you. You've died. I mean, like you've been through some shit. You're one of the most fascinating people I know, because and people give me this credit, and you've given me this credit about my ability to like have perspective that's always maybe not positive but productive. I don't waste things. I try to find ways to accomplish my goal, and I will adjust my mindset accordingly as long as the goal is still there. And Nixy is probably, you had a front row seat to it from more than almost anybody else in the past 3 years, because you and I, a year and a half ago, when we started like getting things going on the YouTube again, we talked about manifesting things, and then we had trials and tribulations that was preventing that from happening. And you watched as the growth and the evolution of it happened. You saw how it's an incredible thing to be a part of, and you got me through so much of it. So it really is.
I never had a doubt for a second though. Like not even. I was like, nope, this dude is funny as fuck. People are gonna realize this. People are gonna realize.
But you do the same thing as I do as far as perspectively. But you're darker than me. Like you're darker than I am.
I've been there, Dave. I've seen things.
I mean, I'm pretty fucking dark, but I mean, I definitely have a bigger smile on my face through the darkness stuff. But that's not an indictment or anything. It's just it's how we process. This is why there's no judgment in this statement, because I understand why people use some of the methodology that they use, and you in particular, when you get funny with your darkness and your experiences, and you use that to make the jokes to stop the room. Like I will say something to try and stop a room with outrageousness and stuff, and then you'll come over the top with something. We'll do this to each other quite frequently. There's not a lot of people who go there with us, because I don't know if it's because this strips away your inhibitions and takes away like humility and pride in a way, and kind of forces you to reassess yourself. But we'll go to those almost out of necessity, because if that can't make us laugh, what will? I don't know if that's the same for you, but it's just I don't have limitations when it comes to what will make me laugh anymore, because of how important it's become to me. A laugh is transcendent.
It is, and it's just, I don't know. I've always had that kind of dark sense of humor anyway. But I've always been someone who's kind of like, if you're laughing at yourself, then no one around you can laugh at you.
They can't have the power over you.
They can't. It's the only way you can take power out of something. And to me, having like actually like been brought back and shit, to me, it's kind of like I started thinking, well, it's the same with life.
Right.
Like I can take that power back, because I can laugh at death, and I can laugh at the fact, oh look, I'm dying again. It doesn't mean anything. Right. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't, like it's like I'm kind of taking that and being like, well, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to everybody. We're all gonna die. Yeah. Like fuck it. Like may as well have a laugh while we're here.
But when people like know what's wrong with you and know the vulnerabilities, there's an opportunity there to weaponize. And the way that it is and most people probably don't even realize it when you talk about ailments in some regards, not all the time, of course, but what the emotion that it can elicit is humiliation, because and you can't help it. It's just like, when you talk about something, and this will happen all the time here, we'll talk about something very near and dear to us, something that affects us, and it'll trigger the other person, and you'll almost, like, I will get red in the face and almost feel like that sense of humiliation, because it'll bring me back to that mindset and such, because some of these things are degrading. Like I've had shit caught from a fucking I've had to poop off of a couch and have it caught off a bucket for years. I've had to degrade myself and humble and humiliate myself. So to use those experiences in a comedic way, nobody else can. And there is a true acceptance there that goes beyond the bullshit trivialities of making a joke of it. There's real therapy there if you use it right, and not to sound too preachy.
Exactly. No, it's totally like that. Because when you've been in those situations, you are forced to be humble.
Yes. Yes.
There's only so many times someone can stick a fucking endoscopy up your asshole and one down your throat at the same time, and you don't make a fucking, spit roast joke. I mean, what are you fucking doing with your life? That's a waste. What a wasted opportunity.
It's a wasted opportunity of a DP. And by the way, that innie and outie that she had at the same time, she was awake for it.
Yeah.
What have you done with your lives, you pieces of shit? She was awake for these things. That's unbelievable.
I can't believe it. I can't believe you Americans get put to sleep for that
Why,
shit.
Nixy? You give me one good argument of why you would be awake for. All right, let's try to maybe give generosity to the up the ass camera. Maybe you could be awake for that. Maybe.
It's the up the ass camera that I don't understand.
What?
The other one I understand.
Why? What?
Because
You can give no feedback there. That's only creepy. You could be put into a panic. You have a camera down your throat. You have tape all over you, and you're staring at your doctor in the face or looking at his penis because you're at penis level? No.
So 2 months ago, I had a bronchoscopy, which is when they put a tube up your nose and they go right down and they go into your lung and they go into the blah, 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 blah in your lungs, right? And I had to be awake for it. It was fucking painful. It was horrible. It felt like I was being drowned at points. But the thing is that there's a point where they get through your vocal cords and they start going down your esophagus and then because if they want to go straight down, they'll go into your stomach because you have that little flap in your thing that basically branches the swallowing versus breathing air tube off, right?
Yeah.
So to get it into your lung, you have to take a deep breath in. You have to really inhale. So I understand that one. I don't understand the gastroscopy then because that was awake as well. But I don't understand the bum one because you could have rolled me over in my sleep.
None of it makes sense, Nixie, because when you're asleep, they can trigger the reflex in your throat to go right down easily. It's not difficult. In fact, you being awake is only a hindrance to that. Now, really, it's terrifying to me, the up the butt one, Nixie. It's terrifying. It's really terrifying because how do you not clench? I'm afraid I would rip the camera off. Like I would break it off like it's one of Dr. Octavius's arms. I
mean, they give you a relaxant. So that's the funny thing
Still
as well.
Up my ass.
All times that I've had these procedures, they give you a drug called midazolam, which is basically like how is it?
That sounds like hey Rudy, why don't you go get me some of that midazolam to put in this girl's drink? That was my Cosby. I was trying to do a Cosby.
I reckon that's what they do use.
That's what Cosby sounds like he'd use for his victims.
Midazolam.
Give some of that midazolam.
It sounds magical.
Don't worry, Dave. They give you good night drugs here. Is the way they fucking should. I've never heard of anybody being awake. That's one of the funniest things I've ever heard of. That poor Nixie.
Up the butt. I mean, it's uncomfortable because you're kind of laying on your side, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna feel a little bit of discomfort now," and it's like, "Okay, yeah, that doesn't feel pleasant." But I've had 2 cesareans, so to me, it's kind of like, I mean, up the bum didn't really make that much of a difference.
I think the only reason why I'd want to be awake is so that song, Never Gonna Dance Again. What was the name of that song? Fucking Careless Whisper. I want to play that while they insert it. And mainly because I want to make really uncomfortable eye contact with who's ever inserting it up my ass. Like I want to not blink type things as soon as that is really crescendoing. Yeah, I want that where he really gets into that part where he's really singing the shit out of the song. He really gets into it, and I just want to have that moment when he gets to the tip where I can feel the camera actually coming out of my throat from my asshole. That's what I want it crescendoing, and I want that eye contact, and that's when I come.
Oh, God.
That's probably when they'll ask me to leave.
You know what? I wonder if they've actually had that happen.
Never gonna dance again. Put that camera up Dave's rectum. Sorry.
Because there's the G spot is easier to achieve in the butthole than anywhere else. So what if they've had guys or maybe women as well, I guess.
Oh, Nixie.
They've just had this happy ending.
Nixie, I just thought of something amazing. I just thought of an amazing skit.
They're using it to look for the G spot.
Nixie, no.
What?
Think about the scene. from Little Shop of Horrors, the candy bar scene, but replace it with this. Like the guy goes in for an endoscopy and shit because he's getting that candy bar, getting a candy bar. That'd be amazing. As it's going right up the fucking pooper. Oh my God. And Bill Murray can still do it because he's still alive. First, I go to a guy on Thursday who recommends me to a guy on Saturdays. I used to see the mother of the guy on Thursday. She's blind, but if you show her where your asshole is, she could slide it right in. She's very sweet. She's got calloused hands, but she always warms them first. It would be amazing.
You know what, though? I mean, a blind person doing it would be kind of pointless, but also kind of like at least your dignity would feel like it's more intact.
Can you imagine some blind person trying to read the bumps on your asshole? like that's the fucking entrance to the cave and fucking Lord of the Rings and shit. What's the elven word for friendship?
You know what? If you did that parody though of Little Shop of Horrors, but did it with an endoscopy, it'd have to be a Little Shop of Horrors crossover with teeth.
Oh,
so just be teeth inside the butthole.
Nixy.
That would be so funny.
That's not okay. That's not a sequel we need. We don't need No, we don't need teeth and vagina is bad enough, but teeth and butthole. That's way more disconcerting. Passion 76 PJ with a membership for 2 months. Thank you so much. And another big love round. Let's give some love to the Ghosty for the 30 gifted subs that he's given out throughout the course of this one. Thank you so much. And by the way, hit the like button, guys. I appreciate you being here. We're talking about our paths, our journeys, and apparently also buttholes that have teeth. We're getting to anything that we need to in this because it goes into it. And real quick to kind of just bring us back into it. So for those who don't know, I'll get into a little bit of my journey a little bit. I got hurt back originally, probably when I was a teenager, if I'm being completely honest. I put my body through the ringer. I joined the Army at 18, really had a tough basic training and a tough AIT. Not because of like the basic, just because my body really struggled. And it went to shit during the first deployment. I got hurt during a couple things there. Didn't find out how bad until the second deployment years later in 2007. I had a hernia surgery coming out of my deployment in 2004. And that's where things would really get bad for me is when they sewed a nerve into my groin during one of those surgeries. I had 11 surgeries in total on my lower half. From 18 total 11 hernias, but then there's 7 other surgeries that were like fucking ablations and all these just incredible fucking things that I went through as they were trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And this went on during a deployment. So there was I want to talk about humiliation and humbling when you're naked on a gurney in Iraq being flown on a C-130 with your dick out going to Kuwait, because and by the way, you're not shot. I wasn't shot. I wasn't being carried out of Iraq because I was shot. I was being carried out of Iraq because I couldn't move. And I'm just a commo pogue at the end of the day. And I got to go out with all these fucking heroes who've been shot or blown up or fucking all kinds of horrific things. I feel like the biggest fucking pussy in the world, and I got to go through that twice because of how bad the medical system failed me in the military. They sent me back the first time, put a temporary nerve block because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I wasn't supposed to redeploy because of stupidity and narcissism and a lot of ego. They send me back anyway, tell me to shut my mouth, and me being the soldier that I am, Roger Hua, gets on the fucking plane. The temporary nerve block goes out again. They send my ass back. I got to go through the exact same process. Iraq, Kuwait, fucking Germany, all over again. And this time they don't fuck around. And to cover up their own stupidity and carelessness, they decide to be more stupid and more careless. And they put a spinal cord stimulator, an out-of-date spinal cord stimulator, into my back to take care of my pain situation, sending electric stimulation throughout my body instead of pain.
So where did that happen? Like, where did they actually do the surgery? Did they do it in Iraq, or
No,
did you
no.
Kuwait?
Launchdale, Germany. Actually, it happened.
Oh, right.
Yeah, when they sent me back to Germany, which is where I lived anyways. That's where I was deployed.
Yeah.
So that's where I had it, was right there. That was October 2008. I was sent back in late August, early September, and they didn't waste any time. Like when the temporary nerve block went away, and the temporary nerve block did provide relief. I was able to move. I was able to deploy, but the problem was I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't. I was blocked from sensation. You kind of need that. I wasn't walking right. I wasn't moving right. I was and that's my problem now. I bump into everything because I have no sensory. You know how you can walk around objects just naturally? You can walk, you can navigate in the dark. You know, there's a bookcase there, and every so often you'll catch a toe or something. But for the most part, you can naturally feel that. Like there's things on your toes. There's things that feels things from a certain distance away. You can feel those. I can't access those. They like for my entire body. I never know what I'm near. I smack myself on everything. I cut myself on fucking everything. I never know. It's terrible. It's a horrible thing, and it's very difficult to function. I had to fake my way back through Iraq feeling that way for 3 fucking months. That was not easy to do.
So were you the epitome of basically like what that guy was like in Kick-Ass? They told you because he had the nerve damage, but it was to the point where he could take a beating and he couldn't feel anything. So it's like, you were living Kick-Ass.
In some ways,
they wrote Kick-Ass about you.
And that was the fucked up thing too. Is I would go from that extreme to not being able to feel anything to then being able to feel anything.
Yeah.
Like there are days when you can scratch me, you can dig your nails into me in a fit of passion. And I wouldn't even be able to feel it. And then there are days when you could try to caress me ever so gently in a loving way, and it would feel like that caress is a fucking razor blade. And there's really no rhyme or reason to it. And I deal with it. And now, unfortunately, my stimulator died 2 years ago. They tried to put a new one in in fact, a year ago, almost to the day. We're getting close to that. And it didn't work because of all the damage that's in my spine from the leads that they put in. Because this wasn't just like put a box in the kit. What they did was they put a electronic stimulation box under my skin above my right ass cheek. And they then have to burrow a small tunnel into my spinal column and then put leads in my spinal column and run the line. So I got this big metal line throughout my body. That put all these leads in my back, that in my spinal column, that have eroded. Essentially, it's moved. I gained a lot of weight. I was bedridden for the first few years, and I ballooned up to 525 pounds. So there's just been a lot of movement and scar tissue, and it affected how the machine works. And now the machine no longer works, even with the upgrade. So now I'm just kind of stuck.
It's the leads that are letting it down.
Yeah. And
they can't remove those.
They can't do anything with them. They can't touch them. There's too much damage. At my age, there's just too much risk. They could kill me. You know, at worst case scenario, I die. Best case scenario is, I could lose a lot of all sensation.
Yeah, so, they could literally paralyze you. They could. Full body paralyzed. Ugh.
It's scary because I feel like at this stage there's so much damage. I can feel it, like when I breathe at times. I can almost feel like the metal catching a nerve or something that's next to my lungs, and it's just when I breathe, it sucks. It sucks so fucking bad. And now with me, it's taken up a couple of different turns rather, because underlying problem has seemed to be MS. But they put the spinal cord stimulator in me without ever doing an MRI. So they now cannot do one because of the metal that's in me that cannot be removed. So there's no way to verify that I have MS. The doctors are working, but they can't give me my diagnosis, but they're working with that understanding, and I'm treating myself as if I do. But now blood work has shown that I have 2 autoimmune disorders. It's looking like Crohn's and some sort of colitis. I can't remember which one of the colitis is.
Yeah.
So fun, but the answers don't. And this is the next thing I kind of wanted to talk to you about, and you're kind of going through a little bit of this currently. Answers. You know, after years of searching and finding, the answers I don't know if you're at this place yet. That's the interesting thing about us too, because we're a few years difference in age, and I feel it's a bigger difference than you do at times. I feel, but just experience. I see mindset wise. I was there a few years ago. I could see, like, when you'll have some emotional reaction, or you'll be feeling some way. I'll remember feeling that way about things, and then a couple more years of having to feel that way, and then you either become numb to it or you find a new way of dealing with it. Eventually you'll find something that works. And that's where I got to be. So it's kind of fun to watch and listen to that. And sometimes you'll talk me out of it. I'll be like, oh, wait a minute, she's right. I don't have a handle on shit. And that's fun. That's fun too, because you're convincing. You're convincing.
I'm sorry.
No, but you know what I mean. It's it's an interesting way of looking at it, because we have similar journeys but at different paths, and that's fun too.
And the thing is, as well, is what's got to be remembered is that, like, every day is a different day, in the sense of I might be absolutely fine, laughing, joking, making fun of myself, like and then I might have a bad day where I feel like, well, what's the fucking point? Like, you know, you kind of have, and you can't tell when that day is going to happen until you're in that day. And then and everyone's like, well, why are you all sad today? Why are you down? And it's like, well, you know, I've got this, oh, and that, but don't worry about it. It's fine.
And the funny thing is, all those things you'll be able to deal with, but then it'll be something like the dog will shit in the fucking corner and it will ruin your life. Like like the smallest thing, salt will spill, and it's an existential fucking crisis. You know what it is? It's like emotional AIDS. The AIDS doesn't get you. The AIDS strips away your fucking immunities, and then a cold kills you or some stupid shit.
Yeah.
This is the same fucking way, but mentally. This weight of the pain and the searching for answers and dealing with all of it is stripping you away of all of your coping mechanisms, the things that work for everything else, because they no longer do now, because the shit is so extreme that the shit that really ends up tanking you has nothing to do with what's bothering you. It's just what got you that time. Because you were stripped away. It's fucking emotional.
People be like, why are you getting so upset about, like, the fact that the computer's slow or something this? And I'm swearing and shouting, and I'm like, because I've been holding on to this for like months because of all the other shit I'm going through. But this was the straw that broke the camel's back. This fucking computer is fucking with me. Yeah. Don't worry about God and his fucking mission to kill me. But this fucking computer,
it's making a choice, and I don't like it.
Yeah, we're always like, it's always stacking straws, and it's just one day, one little straw is just too much, and then you break down and you drop all the straws, and then you have to pick them all back up again, and
I think that's what's cool about our friendship.
It's a circle.
Because a lot of the time, and I want to get back to the answers portion in a second too, but this kind of got me triggered for a moment, because being this way can make it hard to maintain relationships. It really can make it difficult for a lot of different reasons. But you and I, and because of what you just said, if you wouldn't mind repeating it, because I now just talked myself out of my point.
Hang on. What did I say? Oh. No, I was saying that it's always being one straw.
Yes, because we understand that about each other, that we can give that to one another. So, like, a lot of times you can scare away your friends because you'll almost want to prep them and be like, okay, look, this is a lot. You're going to have to deal with more than your average person when you're being friends with me. And they won't get that. But then after a time, they'll start getting frustrated with things, or they'll leave completely, because sometimes it can be unreasonable, because and that's like, that's unfair, but you're trying to be cautious in getting into that. So with you and I, we take it, and we've had moments where we've lost it on each other. We've had moments where we've confided and broken down. Like we've been through a lot, And
Yeah.
we've stuck around. And we've probably surprised each other, because in any other circumstances, when we've pushed other people to those places, they've laughed.
Yeah.
And so what this piggybacks off what T-Maker said in the chat. It's hard to work through things without a strong support system. Sometimes it only takes one. Sometimes it just takes one person to show you that it, and not just tell you, show you that they get it, that they understand you, they understand what you're going through, and they'll put up with all of the insanity that they hate about themselves manifested through you, just because they know no one else will, no one else can, or very few people can, without some sort of extra layer to it. It's hard to just be a friend with somebody and stick around for something like this.
Friendships that I've had that have gone sour or tanked because people, like, I'm one of those, I'm a people pleaser. I like to try and, please people. I always try to do my best, and I don't like accepting that sometimes my best is definitely not enough, because I hate the fact that I feel like I'm being held back or restricted or whatever. But there's so much displaced anger, because I am so angry. Like, I am so
irrationally angry. I get
irrationally angry all the time. And the thing is that I can't blame myself, because I didn't choose to have this, but I can't blame the problem, because the problem is not an entity. It's not a thing. I'm not religious. There is no God. No God picking on me. This is just something that happens. It's something, and I don't know how to display and constructively get rid of that anger. So I hold it. And then, if, like we said, like, small thing will happen, and then suddenly people be like, it's like a whole nother face. It's like this act, and it's overwhelming for them, because they don't realize how much anger I have until I let rip, and I go like a volcano.
To be fair, they don't need to. To be fair, it's not their inherent duty to put up with it and get. You know what I mean? It's a lot to ask of anybody. It's almost unreasonable to ask of anybody. So, like, I could totally get it, because it's at the end of the day, and this is where growth and acceptability and coming to terms with what's wrong with us comes into play. Because when you can get to that point, you realize, and this is my key, this is my rule, my problems, I will rather let them destroy me than allow them to affect other people negatively. Like, sometimes that's just going to happen being friends with somebody. And we just gave instances of how. But when that comes out of control and you're acting from a place of selfishness, you're now using that relationship that will put up with your stuff as a new coping mechanism. Now that's abuse. And there, there's you have to work within that mindset. You have to understand that relationship with yourself. And when you do, it all becomes a lot easier. It really does. That's where I feel I am now. I focus on not making my shit ruin your day or anybody else's. I'm here to make your days better, because that's what I have found makes me feel better is you guys, you making you guys happy. That sounds so gay, but it's entertaining. Has saved my life. Tommy says Pokemon Go, and he's right. Like the walking and everything, the losing weight and everything. But this entertaining shit, this shows this is everything for me. It really is.
Yeah, and it shows, and it does show. It does come through, and everything that you put yourself through to make sure that you're present and that you're doing what you can and everything. I mean, you work hard. You work fucking hard. It blows my mind how much you do, considering, because like you go to work. And I mean, let's be real. This time last year, you were working 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Because you were literally working at the whatnot
shop. Yeah, in a garage.
In a garage. You were doing stuff for yourself. You were paying to be there. You were helping an old man out. And then you were coming home and like literally firing up Twitch, hanging out with us crazy fucking lot and making us laugh and trying to make our days better and shit. And it's just like, that's so much presence. Like that is a ridiculous amount of work. Like And it's always blown my mind. I mean, even now, like, I know you have 2 days off now, but like, you need those fucking 2 days off. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, I remember saying to you like last year, I was like, dude, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
You're doing too much. You need to like, it's reasonable for you to have a day off in the week. You do not need to do it every single day.
I was financially drowning so bad last year, though, Nixie. It was like, people don't know how bad, like, you don't even know how bad it was at points. It was so bad. I was so financially fucked. And I really thought it was all coming to a head, too.
I was just so worried more about the physical toll. And that just comes from, like, that isn't anything to do with, like, even with your disability or like your pain or anything. That isn't even anything to do with that. That's just me worrying about, I would worry about any of my friends if they worked that hard and constantly, because sometimes I think people are like, you were trying to get yourself out of a situation and you were working so fucking hard that sometimes I felt like you were going to run yourself raw. Like you were going to literally burn out. And I didn't want you to burn out, because like when you're not well and then you burn out, that's a whole other league of shit.
It is.
That's when you get into the bed.
Well, you don't know if you're coming back. You honestly, when you fall into that, you don't know if you're coming back from it. You know, it took me 3 years last time to battle out of it. 3 years. I'm constantly worrying about falling back into that. For one, those pain levels. I mean, look, it wasn't all just giving up. Let me tell you, those pain levels, when they get to that point where they don't stop and they just ball you up into a fetal position and don't let go for days, that defeats anything. There's no battling. You're just surviving. You're hoping you can put up with it. But I'd like to think I'm better equipped. I'd like to think if it happened again, I wouldn't gain 300 pounds. I'd like to assume all of that. Truth is, I don't fucking know. I really don't.
I don't think you would. I think you hit that point, and I don't think you ever really want to go back there.
No,
Plus,
I don't want to do that.
You have found something to put your energy into, like with this, like with all the comedy, with all the shows and everything. So you have something now that kind of is almost like your lightning rod. It's your distraction. It's your coping mechanism almost, because
we got lucky.
Coming on it,
we got real lucky. With the shop.
But you were doing this even before, for the last like couple of years. Like there wasn't that many people coming around too often. I mean,
we were a dead channel. No, there's no need to sugarcoat it. We were a dead channel clinging to life.
It was still something.
It was something.
It was still something.
It was beautiful. We still had a community. And look, we're a few years just removed when we were on Twitch. Hundreds of motherfucking people, the subs and stuff. So we've had our moments and stuff. I'm not trying to diminish it, but there's a difference mentally when you're putting everything into it and all the time, and you're getting 20 people in there and you're not making any extra money and not doing any of that. You're going into that same mindset we talked about later. You're doing it in survival mode. You're doing it in safe mode. You're doing it all, but you're just doing it. You're just able. Now, when you start having success, I mean, now both of the things that I was doing last year, the Whatnot shop and the YouTube and Twitching and all of that, they were limited in what was happening with them. There wasn't a lot of reward. So I didn't get to have anything but the stress. Now I have a different shop where I'm appreciated, I'm paid. I'm the conversations I've had with Jimmy over the last few days are life-changing, potentially. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable. And then here, tonight, again, I appreciate everybody who's here, but like the last few months, 300, 200, 150 being the normal amount of people that are in here, and 10,000 subs and all this, it makes these little victories, these rewards, it changes you, man. It changes your mindset because you have something different to fight for. Now all the hope and bullshit and talking about consistency, and if I could just do this or just do that, and all the convincing that you've been trying to tell all the people that are close to you, all the plans, all the times that you've had to tell your friends, show up for this and we're going to build this show, and then it falls the fuck apart because you can't fucking maintain it because you're not capable. I've had to experience that about myself over and fucking over and deal with that reality and see people lose faith, you know, and see people leave and lose that belief to then do it.
Yeah.
It's the greatest feeling I've ever had in my life, Nixy. It's so fucking affirming. It really is. It's an amazing thing. And I'm so appreciative for it because, and I'm going to tie it into the other thing that we were talking about as far as answers, because whether or not you get answers about what's wrong with you, it doesn't help. Because you still have to, unless it's answers that leads to a solution and you don't have to deal with it anymore, you still have to deal with it. So knowing, okay, that's great. It helps a little. But let me tell you, these wins, these successes, these victories, these moments of greatness, call them whatever you want. That's what gets you through. That's what makes you feel alive. And that's what's done it for me. And you're a huge part of that. And so many people, this channel is a huge part of that, part of the ride and stuff. So you just gotta, everyone, you find your thing. You find your path. Yep. You find your ability to.
You find your mush puffs.
You find your kingdom. Mm-hmm. And I'm very grateful for ours. I really am. So, I'm sorry for getting real fucking emotional there.
No, it's emotional because unless you've gone through something like this, you don't understand how uphill of a battle everything feels. So to actually stand at the top and be able to admire the view is like, it's such a special thing. It's such an amazing. I'm fucking proud of you. I say it all the time, but like I'm fucking proud of you because like I know I've seen you really, really bad. Like not probably like not at the beginning or the worst or anything,
you've
but
seen me pretty bad.
I've seen you pretty bad, and
You've
there
had
were
to deal
times
with
where
me
I was
mentally
like,
pretty bad.
I've literally been like, oh my god, like I wish I could help more. I wish I could do more, or like say more, or have the answer. I could give you the solution, but like there isn't one.
You can't. There's nothing you can do. That's the cruel joke, because I know how much you care. You know how much I care, but we also both know that care amounts to nothing tangible physically. And as sweet as it is to know that people feel that way, and as affirming as it is, and as much as it might help me get through the day, physically, I know the reality of it. And that can make it tricky. That can make it tricky.
Yeah.
Shay, it's called Dead on Day for a reason. Yeah. The schizo is low-key messing with the vibe. Who's schizo? I'm schizo, baby. Speedbird Shadow, though I can't do physical things. I'm a good loyal friend. I'll be able to. I don't know what's happening there. Schmeats, as a new viewer, I fell in love with the show after the first 2 minutes of watching. I believe that is why I will keep growing the longer there's consistent streams. That's what I've always believed. Yes, SAY. Yes, I see that Dave stopped eating carbs. I do. I have. And I don't know if you're trolling or whatever. I don't really care. I've seen what you've been writing in there. It doesn't matter. The reality is there is something valuable in that, because I've had to change my diet to feel better. So
yeah, diet. Oh,
yeah. It's funny.
I told you how Diet Pepsi nearly killed me, didn't I?
Yes, you also have really bad soda addictions and stuff. So.
I have one vice, Dave. One fucking vice, okay?
You won?
Everybody just leave me the fuck alone about the soda.
Vice?
It's my fucking vice, okay?
Was it one?
Sugar is my vice, okay?
In all of its delights. You don't want to tell them how much soda you once used to drink, do you?
No.
Oh no, it's okay. You don't have.
She says, "Have you tried yoga?" That is mine and Little Pink Ninja's joke. Have you seen, like, anytime one of us is saying something on Twitter, we'll comment underneath for like, "Have you tried yoga?"
Right. You gotta love when people will do shit like that too. It's like the joke, one thing, the meme and stuff, but having to deal with people always thinking they can solve your problems with simple everyday solutions. That's where you want to grab a tack hammer and just start go hammer
that
time.
Is one of the. It's one
6
of the
day sodas, Shay. You think? Okay, so 12. That I think each can of soda is a 12-ounce can of soda. 6. That would be That would be, we're talking, that would be like 70, 80 ounces. No, darling. No, darling. We're talking at her worst, 2 liters a day.
Oh, come on. That jumped up. It was 2.
You have said 2 to 3.
That was a day when it was really, really hot, and I'd done a lot of work, and I drank through a lot of soda.
4 to 6 liters.
Do you know the only reason he knows this as well is because my husband came in and went, "Did you drink the second bottle of Pepsi?"
That's how I found this out live on fucking air. Jason,
tell them that this is what I did.
See, Nixie's very lucky to have the greatest partner in the world in Jace, and he also will quite frequently rat her out like that. And give me some amazing moments because I haven't laughed. So the funny thing is, it's almost identical to the 2 Bears, 1 Cave, Bert Kreischer, and what's his name podcast where Bert reveals that he drinks 2 64-ounce things of Kool-Aid every day.
Yeah. It was the way you like, "Nixie, you're gonna die."
We laughed for, I think, like 30 minutes. Like, it derailed
so
everything.
She was like, oh my god, Nixie, you need to stop. Nixie, you need to stop. And I was like, oh, Aon. I wish I could say that I stayed off the wagon. I did try.
Why are you wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are you back to like heavy usage? Are you back on the dope? How much are you drinking a day again?
A bottle.
What size bottle?
2 liters.
NixyNakks. You can't do a 2 liter a day, pimp.
Someone named me. My God.
2 liter. We're doing math. I have to do math. 2 liter to ounces is 67 ounces. 67 ounces.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you cut me open right now, it'd just be syrup.
You're drinking 469 fluid ounces of soda a week.
Oh, is that all?
470 fluid fucking ounces of soda a week.
Yeah.
That will kill you. Ellis, I'm going to feel that in a few. What did you do? I remember when I was 18 buying 24 case of Monster off Amazon and drink 4 a day. Man, I don't get it. Speedy, I was worried for Dave when he left Germany. He used to keep me awake at night, if truth be known. It's not happened overnight, but I'm so proud of him for where he was to then to now. Everyone was worried about me when I left Germany. I was 300 pounds and not physically stable. You know, not mentally stable either. I had no money. I had no direction. I had nothing. I had a lot of pluck, but not much else. And that was
when you get to the bottom, the only way you can go is up.
Or you could die.
Yeah.
You could die, so.
Been there, got the t-shirt.
That's right. I've been to that ride. That's not finite either.
I didn't even get a t-shirt out of it. I think I should have a t-shirt. Do you know what I said that I like? Because this is the thing, right? So we used to, like, me and my friends, we were all massive World of Warcraft nerds, right? We used to raid every fucking night. And I was someone who would die and then, like, I'd get battle reses and shit. And then my friends kind of made it a running joke about the dying because, like, in character. And then obviously, like, because of my health issues, I made it into an even bigger meme about the dying. So I actually have a jumper that has my owned count, which was like 1007, which is like elite in fucking thingy speak. But if I die, I want written on my tombstone, res please.
Res please. There you go.
Needs a res.
Respawn. Not the graveyard.
Respawn in 3,
2,
2, 1.
Oh, have I told you my new working theory on reincarnation?
No.
I believe you die and come back as a cat.
Oh.
I think that's why
cats are assholes.
I think that's why cats are the way they are, because they're adjusting to from being a person to having to be a fucking cat. Do you know I would have that same fucking attitude? Like, you're kind of a person, but not. You have all the ways to emote.
Happy to be a cat.
I don't think you would at first. Not the first go round. I think it'd be a very jarring transition the first go round. And the reality is, as much as you might love cats, everybody treats cats like shit. I love Ollie, but I want to beat the living crap out of him most days. I hate him.
I'd be a big burly fucking alley cat that had a gang of cats that fucking robbed people and shit.
And I think depending on how you are as a cat, that then determines if you come back as a person after you die as a cat.
You have to go through like a cat purgatory to decide whether or not you go to heaven or hell.
That's right.
Was you an asshole cat? Yeah, but I has cheeseburger.
Like if you're a really bad cat, you come back as a stink bug. And then if you live a good stink bug life, maybe you come back as a chipmunk.
But I'd want to be a chipmunk. Chipmunks are cute.
But I think that's what you do. You go live a whole bunch of other existences until you get that existence right, and then maybe you earn human again. You got to earn your human card. And I think that also can explain how we have people who can seem to inherently know how to succeed in this life, while there's people who are still stupid as fuck. They don't learn their lessons. I kind of like there's a little bit of beauty there.
I don't know, the whole reincarnation thing. I have like a parallel universe kind of idea in my mind.
That's possible. I like that.
I like the idea that our life goals are like the whole purpose of life is to experience every consequence of every single situation that you could ever go through. Because it's infinite.
Yeah, it is. I was about to say that's an infinite task.
Exactly. Why else are we? I don't know. Why are we here? What are we doing?
Is that the exact Buddhist? Is that the?
I can tell you about my nip. I can tell you about my
your nip.
My near-death experience.
If you want to.
Yeah. Well, so I was so my asthma started getting like really bad. My lungs got really bad. I have bronchiectasis. Like 3/4 of my left lung doesn't work. And I went on holiday with my family. We went to Cyprus, and we went on the day before the last day before we went home. We went to a water park, and I got Legionnaire's disease. Swallowed some crappy water or something. So fast forward, I got home, and I literally, my body just shut down, like completely shut down. I've never seen like my dad and Jace were like crying and shit, and it was horrific. I just remember like coming over really cold and saying to my dad that I wanted my goggles back. I don't know what that was about. I was going swimming apparently, but so everything started shutting down. I remember the crash team coming in and everything. I remember them kicking all my family out and whatnot. But I remember this overwhelming feeling of like I could choose to leave if I wanted to. Like it was literally like you can't explain it, but it was proper. Like if I had to make the conscious decision to stay in my body. Like I don't think that makes sense to anybody.
No, I think it makes perfect sense. I think it makes perfect sense. It's there's a phenomenon with it too. It's not the obvious one. There's a disconnect of there's something there's a thing there. It's pretty cool. It's a cool little thing. It's actually more relatable than you think it is. That choice of
because when I was in intensive care, like I was in this room, and I remember there being, like when you're in hospital and they have the TV stands that are basically like those little metal frames with like a space for a TV on them. Yeah. So they had those in the rooms, but they had them so high up that you wouldn't be able to fit a TV. Like it was literally like a little hand space to go in and out. Like you couldn't put anything on it, basically.
Yeah. Do you remember that scene in fucking Nightmare on Elm Street 3 where the girl gets her fucking head shoved through the TV? Welcome to prime time, bitch. TV's up all that high. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Way high TV.
All right, but they didn't have a TV on it. It was just empty. It was just like the metal frame, and it was so close to the ceiling they couldn't fit a TV on it. So I asked them why they had that there, and apparently they said that they have a drawing on a piece of paper that's up there, and when people had near-death experiences and they had out-of-body experiences, they would ask people what shape or what image was, and people would genuinely tell them the right thing. So I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool. But I had the experience of like, I felt like I could have stepped out of my body, but I felt like if I'd stepped out of my body, I wouldn't have been able to go back.
See, that's funny that you've had that experience and you still claim full atheism, even though because you've experienced something that alludes to maybe not an afterlife or anything like that, but it does allude to the existence of energy.
Energy, I believe in. I just don't believe in a god.
Well, right, but I mean, it's like with energy, there's forces that dictate what energy does. We know this in nature. So there's forces that impact themselves, and thus really form the energy around them in our physical universe. So what are those? Are those not godlike creatures? I think that's how we got gods in the Viking, Norse mythology and all that in the first fucking place, if I'm being honest. Because when you start thinking about it in those terms, everything having a reason, everything having something that governs it makes a lot more sense than one fucking all-encompassing. So, and I think that's exactly how it is. It's just those different sensations being explained.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I definitely believe in like spiritual energy. I just don't necessarily believe there's a presence that.
Oh, I'm with it. I'm with you on that. I don't know if there's an actual Mercury or Venus or Mars or any of that bullshit. What I'm saying is I could see that being. I personally think God's existence came because of a lightning strike, and the smartest caveman said it's the guy in the sky. And then he realized everybody would do what he said, so he started making up rules. That's how I believe religion was invented, and then exploited upon throughout. But I think then as mankind got smarter and evolved, I think that evolved with it, and then started using theology and building, because we're all very creative. We have this ability to come up with all kinds of shit in our brains, and we can prove that to ourselves just thinking back as a child when we weren't inundated with images, but we could still remember. We could picture a dragon in our head without knowing what a dragon was. You can come to your own conclusions based off of words and build word pictures. And so it's that same concept in mythology when you can't explain something, but you know that, like gravity, there's something that's making us go up and down. Well, there's a God for that. We can find something to explain that. And then I think that's just how it's built naturally, personally.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So I'm just reading what Orson Welles has written.
I love Orson.
He's got like quite a few. So I've got the I haven't got my kidneys are not affected so far, touch wood, but my liver is in critical condition now. It's technically what was the word? Deranged was the word they used.
Your kidneys are deranged?
No, not my kidneys, my liver.
Your liver's deranged. You're not a drinker.
My liver's technically deranged now, but like, so 2 days ago, you know how I said to you I had a bad day the other day?
Yeah.
So I had my consultation with my respiratory team, my consultant and everything, and they gave me some of the stuff. I've still got tests to come back and everything, but basically they're now saying that I have bronchial stenosis. So the tubes in my left lung are basically thickening and full of scar tissue. And I remember seeing that on the screen, because when they went into my right lung, which is my technically healthy lung, it's not healthy, but it's better than the other one, right?
It's better
so
than
I went
the
in
other
there,
one.
It was nice and baby pink, right? And then when they went into the left one, it was like red, like someone had been scratching it, kind of thing. And they couldn't go any further than they did because literally the tubes in there were like so narrow. But what they're saying is that when I breathe out, I'm actually having like a partial lung collapse on my left side. So that's fun. And it's something they have to monitor because it's going to progressively get worse. But the good news is that they're now saying that I can go back once they finish getting all the tests that they want. They're going to put me back on the injections that I was having, because I have having injections every 2 weeks. That basically keeps my IgE syndrome at bay, so then my asthma won't be symptomatic because of allergic reaction, which is one of the big things. And it also keeps my urticaria at bay, because at the moment I can't actually bathe because it's so cold. If I get into a bath where it's hot and then I get out, I will literally come out in hives. So it's like I have to weigh up if I can have a bath or not. It's disgusting, but it's the truth.
It's so fucking funny how we'll parallel and things like that. I don't break out in hives, but I have a special relationship with cold as well. It won't kill me, but I think it's trying to. I think I have this thing, and I think it's going to end up being something with whatever autoimmune disorders I end up coming up with, where when I get too cold, I start shivering in this, not like in a regular way, not like everyone shivers when they're cold, Dave. No, I shut down. I can't, my lungs, I feel like I can't breathe. I start making this horrendous fucking sound. it's terrifying, and I have to warm up, but I can control it if I can warm up. If I can, it's completely, I can simulate it. I can show it. I can make it happen, and I can then stop. Well, up until this point, I've always been able to stop it by getting warm. I'm afraid one day I won't be able to stop it, and because I can't breathe. So is it just going to shut down? It feels like I'm going into some form of shock, and it's terrifying. It's
I have always stood by, because the thing is that like there's a lot of times where doctors, because obviously when you're like going to consultants and doctors and stuff, there's a lot of times I've come across people that are like, oh, you're saying this and that and the other, and oh, it can't be that and it can't be this and whatever. But like, so people also are like super critical of people that self-diagnose. Now, sometimes when you're in investigations, you have to treat yourself like you're one thing, even if you haven't technically got the diagnosis of that thing. So I have always maintained that when I get cold, like not even like, even when I was on the Xolair that was keeping all my allergies at bay, I would still have like what you're saying, like the reaction with the shivering and stuff, where to the point of I felt like I could breathe, but I felt like my legs would give in. Like I'd literally just almost collapse on myself. And it's like, it's how can I explain it? It just feels like my body goes into shock. And every winter, my body goes into shock because of the change in weather and everything. Like it's so hard to explain that, like when the seasons change, I get sick. That's just how it happens. It's always happened that way. I can do things in the summer.
Too, you know.
Yeah, I can do things in the summer to prepare for the winter. Like I can make sure I'm healthy and make sure I'm exercising, make sure that I'm doing all my lung physiotherapy, etc., etc. But when it comes to it, like especially this year, because obviously I don't have any Xolair in my system, so I can't even fucking leave the house without coming up in hives and shit. So like, it's a whole different ball game. Like I've already been in hospital a couple of times this year with pneumonia and shit, and it's like, it's just a lot, you know.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the point I was making.
No,
I went on a tangent and totally fucking forgot.
That's
what I was
the beauty
saying.
of a show like this, is that this is a perfect place for that. So I think what I kind of want to ask you, we can kind of just start and wrap it into a summation here, is what have you found has been what gets you through? You know, we've talked about it a little bit, at least on my part, but what have you found? I mean, like what does it for you? Because this is not an easy journey, and you continue to inspire me, and you always say it about me, but you and I know that makes you laugh because you have the same self-loathing as I do, but you're a fucking warrior, man. You battle, and that's why I fuck with you, man. That's why we become best friends. I could say things to you that I can't say to anybody else on this planet, and you'll accept it and take it and give it back. And I'm very appreciative of it, you know, and I very much needed that. So you inspire me, you keep me going, and I just want you to know that you're an important person in this whole last 3 years. So.
I appreciate it. To be honest, no. To be honest, I don't actually really know, because like I can't really get into that without talking about like mental health and everything, because
it's all part of
like it is all part and parcel. Like you can't go through as much as you do without having some kind of issue with it.
So
and
its own struggle.
Exactly, but like. People like when I was getting old, like when I had my kids and stuff, everyone was like, "Oh, you've got to fight for your kids, and you've got to do this, and you've got to do that." But I don't think people realize that there's the entire. My brain doesn't see it that way. My brain does the exact opposite. My brain says, "No, my kids deserve to be able to go to the park. My kids deserve to be allowed to go outside to build snowmen. My kids deserve this, and I'm holding them back."
That's the self-loathing.
They're going to grow up and hate me for this. They're going to be like, oh, we didn't get to do that as a kid because our mum was sick.
That's the manifestation of the burdens that are placed upon you. Exactly. That's what that is. You
Exactly. My brain is a dickhead, basically.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing. And it's impossible to not. It's because that is what you know. This is your reality. This is how your body governs. So your brain's going to cope that way. But what you have to do, no matter what, is hold on to a thread of the knowledge that that's not reality, that that's your perception. That's how we continue.
I mean, I struggle with that anyway.
I know
so,
you
like,
do.
That's
why I'm always here to remind you.
I appreciate it, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't. It sounds like a terrible thing to say as a mother. I don't live because of my kids, because I always feel like they would have been a lot better off without me. But I do live for my husband because I couldn't put him through that pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I understand that. Look, there's a different connection with your partner than there is with your children. And it's a very deep connection with your children. And having one myself, I understand this. And losing the person that you made this other person with, you understand the connection with that other person and how deep it is. It's not the same. And you created life with this person. That's a powerful thing. Now, granted, that the child is the manifestation of that, but this is who you did it with. That's your partner. That's your, that's your Clyde. That's your Bonnie. That's a big fucking thing.
I hold a lot of guilt. I hold a lot of guilt for a lot of things. I hold a lot of guilt over feeling like Jace could do better. He could have someone who's more like this, that, or the other, or whatever.
He is so in love with you, Nixie.
He is my absolute rock. Like, he sees parts of me that no one else in the world sees.
Yep.
Like the crying on the floor at 3:00 in the morning, or the getting into bed and crying, and knowing that at that moment I don't need him to fix me. I don't need him to do anything. I just need a cuddle. Yeah. I just need to, and it's very much of a, like, especially with the illnesses and stuff, it's very much I don't want people to feel like they have to fix me or anything. Like, when you tell someone you're not well, the first thing people want to do, oh, I'm so sorry, if there's anything I can do, or have you tried this, have you tried that? And it always comes from such a good place. But
sure,
it's having people around you that accept that this is who you are, you have broken pieces, and sometimes you just need time to put yourself back together.
Yeah. Because
if someone keeps doing it for you, then that person can then grow to resent you, because they're consistently putting you back together. But if
you're not learning how to put that part of yourself back together. By the way, there's an important underlying factor. Your body wants to heal. Naturally, it's what your body wants to do. It wants to regenerate until it decays to the point of where it's incapable. So, but we get in the way of it. But please continue what you were saying.
I just feel like people in general, like, you hear of people who find out they had cancer and they've had it for fucking months or whatever, and they just got the sniffles, so they just happen to get checked and they happen to find out, and then they're dead within the week.
Yeah.
It's like there's something about knowing that the end might come soon that sometimes people almost give up. So, like, to me, I'm kind of like, I don't need someone to constantly be fixing the situation, because in my head I'm kind of like, well, I'm just going to break again, so I may as well just,
what's the point of putting this duct tape on this?
Yeah, what's the point? I'm going to break again in like
don't waste your duct tape, Dave. So, don't waste your duct tape, Jeff. Like, I get it, I get what you're trying to do, but it is just a duct tape on a fucking gash. It's only going to do so much. I get it. But the funny thing is, for some, and you are guilty of this too, for some people, that's part of how we cope, is trying to figure out those little solutions to the things that we can't control ourselves. That's why you and I are so good at giving advice to each other that we never listen to for our fucking selves.
Yeah.
And it's very funny, because it's me. I have a desire to, like you were saying about wanting to fix. It's because of the things that are so broken in myself that I get fixated on wanting to try and fix. But that's another cool thing about being friends with you, is over the years now, we kind of let that go. That's why we can just call each other cunts and walk away sometimes. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to just sort of say, look, I know you're going through shit. I'm here.
I'm here.
And
Dap it out if you need me.
do you
call
wanna
me.
you wanna watch some fucking
Wanna go watch Rick
random
and
fucking
Morty?
ass movie? You wanna watch Rick and Morty? You wanna just chill the fuck out and do nothing? You wanna just sit there and cry? Like, you know, it's like it's the expectation of not having an expectation.
Yes.
Because it's the worry of people having an expectation of me and feeling like I'm failing that makes me more angry with myself, which feeds back into what we were saying earlier about the fact that there's so much anger and displaced emotion that has got no constructive. I mean, I try to do art or do something, but there will be times where I just can't do anything. Like, I am literally like, fuck everything, fuck the world, let it fucking burn. But I have to go through that. That's part of the healing of realizing that, okay, it's time to get back up again, it's time to go round again. Like, that's what we do.
You know, earlier you were saying that, you know, I do a lot to do the things that I do. The reality is, at this point, instead, I just show up. I'm very fortunate. I've done it. Don't get me wrong. I've done it. I've done all the show setups. I've built all the shows. I've done all that. I've done it. But I'm very grateful to have people in my life that set links for me and do those things, because that I will forget when I'm at work for 10 hours a fucking day. And having those little peace of mind things, and this goes back to that same thing we were talking about, having people that get it and that are there for you in whatever way you need them to be, small and minor or big and important. It all matters, and it all helps to get through. So I'm incredibly grateful for Riveter, for Nixy, for Fake, and all that.
It goes back to the straw theory too. Like, sometimes we've got a handful of them, and you know, we forget one or two on the floor, and we just need someone to be like, "That's cool, I'll do that one. Don't worry about it." Like, because you don't know when that snapping point's going to come.
Nope.
So if someone can take one off of you, like with no like guilt or judgment for it, just like, it's okay, I'll set that link, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a big deal to us, because we're not just carrying, like, you're working, you're also working, and you're also going through everything in pain, which is its own fucking struggle. So everything piles up. So if someone can take even the smallest things off, they are so massive to someone who's got so much to carry.
And I've not always had that, you know, to have people that I trust, to be able to give you access, to be able to give Riveter access to my stuff, to my livelihood, you know, because I have that level of trust in you. It's everything, man. I mean, like, I literally give you the keys to my livelihood, not out of necessity, because I could have done this before, and not that I didn't trust or love other people in the past. I wasn't in that mental place to be able to give that. And now that I am, it's just another thing of working through what you got going on, and the places you can go with the right perspective and the right people around you. It's just really an incredible thing. I'm almost grateful for it. I almost talk about it in reverence, like this whole experience. Like, it redefined me. It stripped me down and turned me into a completely different person than who I was. I went from an athletic soldier, you know, the extrovert of extroverts, constantly out and about, to a forced shut in, you know, and then had to go through all these completely different physical and mental makeovers. It's just been an insane fucking journey.
It's so fucking hard to be an independent person at heart, and then have to feel like you have to lean on others.
Yeah.
Like,
to give up
you feel
that
like,
control.
You feel like it's a weakness. You feel like it's a failure, but it's not.
They can use it against you. You know.
Yeah, you don't want to give someone the power to weaponize. But I have to say, like, my biggest thing, I think, through what I've learned through being friends with you, is being able to have a friend. Like, I always struggle with that expectation. Like, I always feel like people are just going to assume the worst of me and hate me for it, and I'm always going to suck, whatever. But like, to have a friend who's kind of like doesn't. If I say, dude, I just need some time, like, I will go silent as well. Sometimes I will just not. I just can't talk, because I can't conceptualize. I can't talk about what's wrong with me, and for me to be able to say, dude, I'm not going to be able to. I just can't talk. And for you to not take that personally, for you to understand that I'm not trying to hurt you, I'm not trying to push you away. I just need that healing time. I just need that time to come to terms with things in my own head.
And you don't have a choice sometimes.
but that has been like, I don't think you realize how big of a deal that it has been for me, because I feel like, and maybe it has all been my fault, because like I have always put that pressure on myself, but I always felt like a lot of people in my life never gave me that freedom to sort of be able to say, I need to take a step back for a second. I just need to chill out for a second. I can't do this today. Like, because I've had people that then took it personally and thought I was attacking them or being aggressive.
You know why I'm like that? This is funny. You know why I'm like this? You know why? You know why I can accept that? I'm okay with it. Not just the obvious, because I love you and you're important to me and all that. There's a real, I've been trained, and it's not the military. It's what I've done here on YouTube. I've kept this training going. I've had so many different hosts. I've had so many different people, fans, friends, viewers, partners, co-hosts, creators, producers. They've come and gone, and I've had to continue to go forward. And there's an inherent contract with what we're talking about, and understanding both of those concepts. When you can't do the things that you're talking about, that you're no longer able to do, and the things that I'm talking about that I haven't been able to let go of. Now, what's beautiful about what's happened now is there's a meeting point of where those two things have just met right in the middle, and it's just kind of cool. So.
Yeah.
But anyways, an hour and a half of all this wonderful butt fuckery. Look, the reality is this is...
I've already had my endoscopy, Dave. I don't need more butt fuckery, thank you.
The reality is this is something we definitely wanted to do and kind of get off of our chests for a while. And we want to hear from you. You know, we want you guys to know that you're not alone in all this, and whatever you need to find, you know, there's never an expectation or a hurriness in finding it. You know, just keep yourself available. You know, allow yourself to know that there's always time. You know, no matter how much it feels like there's not. You know, just take the moment that you need, and that's what we're about here. So no matter what you're here for, why you like this channel, or why you're around, just know that we're here and we get it. So,
yep.
Final words, final thoughts. Anything else you want to say? Poo poo pee pee.
Poo poo pee pee.
Poo poo pee pee. So what are we doing tonight?
We're all fucking broken. Why not just be broken together?
Be broken together. Put us back together.
Yes.
What do you want to do tonight?
I really am holding a piss from hell.
Well,
like,
yeah, I know you got to pee, but after you
time.
piss, what are you going to do? Are you going to bed? Do you want to watch something? We're going to play some Pokemans? What new Fall Guys season? What do you want to do?
What? I don't know. Well, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do, boo boo?
Hey, I hate you. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll be somewhere watching something, doing something. I don't care if you want to play the new fucking season of Fall Guys. I want to watch Little Shop of Horrors. What was the other thing that you need to watch? What was the other thing that I found that you need to watch? Oh, Christmas Story, cunts. We need to watch A Christmas Story.
It's Christmas season. We gotta start bringing out the Christmas movies.
Hey, look, man, you guys are making me play Fall Guys. The Pokemon people are gonna be pissed. I barely played any Pokemon. People are gonna be mad at me. I love you too, Terry, even though that you're crazy. Not leaving Twitter, jackass. That was from a week and 2 weeks ago when there was the rumor that the belief that Twitter was gonna go away.
Wait, why is Dave saying this now? And then I looked at the date and I was like, oh.
Yeah, Terry caused that for like 6 or 7. I had people write me, like, why are you leaving Twitter? I'm like, oh my God, Terry.
But we loves you.
We love
Queen
you.
Mushpuff.
Queen Moshpop. All right, so keep an eye on what we're doing, and if you want to share your story, feel free to throw it in the comments section, you know, or reach out. You know, I can't fix your problem, but sometimes I will listen to them, at least for a point, until you bore me. So I just.
Basically, like he's basically like House, right? He wants the zebras. He's looking for the rarest of the rare conditions. If you have a rare condition and your story is exciting, then
if it'll make me laugh,
Avery House.
If it's funny.
Case.
Yes, I'm looking for the funny ones though. That's the ones I want. I don't care about it being interesting. Is it funny?
Always have an open mind about laughing at, if you laugh at yourself, you take the power away from life.
Yeah.
Fucking don't let it get you down.
A laugh to me, and I think this is a perfect place to leave it. A laugh to me is the most important resource that there is. I have had on my worst days, the worst experiences, the death of my fucking mother. I can recall a moment in that day of which I laughed. I farted, sitting on the floor, crying my fucking eyes out. Devastated that my mom died at the age of 56 and I'm a 36-year-old fucking orphan. Devastated me. I'm sitting on the floor almost bare-assed. I'm wet. My ass is wet from something and probably sitting
Why the fuck is you wet?
Probably from sitting in tears or something. I don't fucking know.
Oh, you were the meme.
I have no idea. And I let out one of those reverb farts and it just slapped against the fucking cold tile beneath my asshole. And it reverbed right against my nutsack and just pounded up against my balls in that very comforting and funny way. And I laughed. And I laughed because my mom would have laughed. Comedy and laughter is an important tool that Roger Rabbit explained to us many, many, many years ago. Sometimes it's all we have. It can be the thing that rescues us, saves us from the greatest depths and despair, because when you're able to laugh at something in the right perspective, you can see how minuscule and trivial it is and put it in its proper place. And that's why I love it. That's why I continue to seek it out and distribute those yucks as much as I can. So, fake ass twats, say something stupid.
You're so gay, Dave.
I want you inside me.
You're so gay. Fake really wants to get inside you.
Dave's so gay. Dave's so gay.
Okay.
Fake really wants to bust the nut in his butthole. Thank you guys very much for joining us on another episode. But yeah, you came in at the end. You missed the whole last thing, Xylee. That was a good episode, too. We talked about all kinds of emotional shit. Missed it all.
Right in the feels.
Hour and 40 minutes and you missed it. It's all right. It's all right. We'll be back at the grind, regular stuff, starting Tuesday, Shopping the Point Tuesday, I do believe. So that'll be a lot of fun. Terry, read what I wrote. Like your breast, what? My breast? Like your breast being wide open, literally, so it looks like a turkey ready to be stuffed. What?
What? What?
What?
I have no idea.
What?
Like your breast being wide open, literally, so it looks like a turkey ready to be stuffed.
With breast wide open, under the moonlight, so it literally looks like a fucking stuffed turkey with breast wide open. Oh yeah. You had surgery? That'll explain it.
Oh, I see.
Oh, they cut up your boobies and stuff. Oh, I got it. That's all right. Well, have a good night, everybody. I will mute myself, deafen. Let's get up out of here. We'll see you on the other side, motherfuckers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nixie. Really do appreciate you sharing the journey with everybody as well. And tell the kids where they can find you and all the amazing things that you do, you photographer, thirst trap, makeup artist, virtuoso extraordinaire.
Oh, I need to pee so badly. I'm just NixyNakks everywhere, really.
Hey, Nixie, you hear that?
Where there's a will, there's a NixyNakks.
Hey, Nixie, you hear that?
I need to pee.
Can you hear that, Nixie?
No,
That's
but I
Russian,
can see it, and I'm getting the message. Why are are you doing?
Go pee. I'm deafening. All right, go pee. Thank you guys so much for being here. I greatly appreciate you for this one's, this one wasn't for everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you over on the funny pages. We're going to go to Discord or go up on, probably going to end up going to Twitch and playing Fall Guys. Let's be honest. See you guys throughout the week. Keep it copious, folks. And remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends like Real Talk, the Metaphor Messiah. Let's get up and dance, babies. Have a good night.
That's what I need in life, cause I don't get no sleep at night, so I'ma just keep grinding till my people see the morning light. Feel like I'm Alexander's prodigy. Fuck your death threats, them niggas always talking honorary. The Pentagon the same, they trying to mold us in the pottery. But even if I die, my lyrics still a living history. You mean they treat us like we pawns and we listen cause we scared they ain't gon' beef with Genghis Khan? I'm higher than a dinosaur, she Oreo like Baltimore. I taught them what I know, that make me feel like I was Gryffindor. Get your game right, she hot, I call her sunlight. With lips like she's Brad's life, I ask her cause a crash site. But that's the way it is, I guess I play protagonist. This shit will never change, I'ma go out with her. This may be everything I'm dreaming. I wake up, my superstition say the government was scheming. This must be everything I'm dreaming. I wake up, my superstition say the government been scheming. Here we go. I roll up, they say the city lights is feeling me. My girl, she super real, she think that ain't nobody cool as me. Flying in Pacifics, I'll be ripping till I'm gone. I sit back and blaze away like I'm Akeem Olajuwon. Yeah, da-da-da. Yeah, da-da-da. Hip-hop, I'm real talk. Hip-hop, I'm real talk. Da-da-da.
Good luck, Jay Philly.
Yeah.
Welcome to the new world. You dig?
We always dig. You know we always dig. One more rip. One more rip. I'm going to stop doing shows on Sundays. Sundays have been terrible days for viewerships. It has not worked out well. Have a good night, everybody. Let's do one more rip and get the F out of here. Have a great night. We'll see you on the flip-flop. Good night, motherfucker.